Just listen. I'm sorry what I did to Compton.
You are listening to
Fire emergency.
Please don't talk, just listen. I'm sorry I killed that girl.
Guys, welcome back to another episode of the Grim Fix Podcast. Thank you for all those returning viewers and listeners. Thank you very much. If you have not done so and you are listening to us via podcast through your favorite podcast platform, it could be Spotify, Anchor, it could be iHeartRadio, it could be Apple Podcasts. I said Spotify already. Okay. It could be Google Play. Anyway, your favorite podcast platform. If you are listening to us via podcast, I want to thank you. If you have not done so yet, please subscribe, follow the podcast, drop a review, drop us a few stars. Let us know what you think of the show thus far. If you are watching us on our YouTube channel, we also would love it. If you have not done so yet, you should like the video. You should subscribe to the channel, and you should activate that notification bell. It is totally free. It won't cost you anything. And if you have done that already, we ask you that you please drop us a comment. Let us know what you're thinking, what you think of the episode. If you have information that we did not discuss, we want to hear about it. And then you can share it with your friends and family, and they can also see how awesome we are. And if you have an interesting story that you would like us to discuss in one of our episodes, if it's interesting enough, we'll probably make a whole episode on your story. If you have an interesting story, weird, I don't know, paranormal, ghost story, I don't know, alien story, a confession like Charles keeps asking
a
for.
murder confession.
If you have any of those, you can send it to us at the grimfixpodcast@gmail.com. If you wish to remain anonymous, we can also do that. Just let us know in the email that you wish to remain anonymous. So let's start this show.
Mira, you really want just a murder confession? You don't want any other confession? Just a murder?
Whatever confession is good. Whatever it is that you're gonna confess.
Any confession that's either funny,
embarrassing,
or whatever.
Yeah. Let us know. Yeah, just drop it. If not, I mean, if it's interesting enough or funny enough, we'll read it here. We'll discuss it. We'll dissect it. We'll probably crack jokes on you. A little bit of everything. But send that story to the grimfixpodcast@gmail.com. Oh, not you can also find us. Not the Gim Fix. Sorry, that was my bad. You can also find us on social media. I forgot to mention this on our last episode. You can find us at Facebook or Instagram at Grim Fix Podcasts. All right, so now let's really start the show now. All right, cue the French fries and let's get it started. So today our research team has brought us a story on not her nickname. What's her real name?
Nancy Hazel.
Nancy Hazel, right? They called her Nanny Doss. And AKA, what is it? The Giggling
Granny.
The Giggling Granny. To be honest, this is the first time I hear about this story. I've never heard of it till we decided we're going to do the show on this topic, on this case, and I started reading it. But with you guys, I will be learning today because, to be honest, I did not do all my research this week. So yeah, that's my confession. So we will be reading today. We decided we're going to use one article. So we found a few articles. You can find them in pages like, so there's a website called the Alabama Heritage. You can find the story there. You can also find it in the Crime Wire. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of others. but we decided that we will be using allthatisinteresting.com, written by William DeLong and edited by John Karowski. This was published originally in March 1st, 2018, and updated in July 20th of the same year. We did find some other updated versions, but it's basically the same information, so we stuck to this article. With that said, who wants to begin?
I was.
Okay. Go for it.
All right. It says, Nanny Dawes spent decades murdering relatives and husbands. I was searching for the perfect mate, Nanny Dawes told police after she was arrested for murdering her husbands. The real romance in life.
End quote.
That sounds like a sane person right there.
And she just started off the bat.
Looking for love through a newspaper, whatever it is that she used.
Hey,
So-
that was her version of Tinder right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Tinder, what's the other one? Match.com, I think it is.
So,
Rednecks
quick
and
question.
singles.com.
Rednecks.
Hey, I
So-
was watching Mama June.
Oh my God. You watched that? What was the other one? Honey Boo Boo, right? Was it
Oh
Honey
my
Boo
God,
Boo
I
was the
hate that
original
show.
one? Honey Boo Boo. So, quick question. Is this again, I haven't done my research, so I will be very inquisitive in this episode. I will be asking questions because I want to know, just like you guys want to know. Is this sort of like a Black Widow type situation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sort
Yeah.
of.
All right. So let's continue.
It says Nanny Dawes seemed like a sweet lady. She smiled and laughed all the time. She married, had 4 children, and spent time with her grandchildren. And as you can see on the picture above it, like smiling granny right there.
She's
Yeah.
always smiling.
With the caption, after confessing to the murderers, she was already like,
You gotta be twisted.
So she's actually, so for those of you who are watching on YouTube, you will see the picture.
She
This
actually
picture,
posed.
she's actually posing, smiling, like she looks happy. Mind you, this picture is after she's confessing to the murders of 4 of her 5 husbands, and she's leaving the court attorney's office and heading to jail.
with a big
Holy
fat smile
shit.
on her face.
Wow.
Grinning.
But behind the happy facade was a trail of death and murder that lasted from the 1920s to 1954. It was then that Nanny Dawes confessed to killing 4 of her 5 husbands, and authorities believe she may have killed many of her blood relatives as well.
Wow.
See, I
Dun,
could
dun,
understand.
dun.
I could understand killing the husband, for whatever reason it is. Either they're abusive or money, in the bank or whatever it is, the good reason. But family, come on.
But she says that she didn't kill them. They
So
believe
she
it was
says.
her. Yeah, so she says.
Okay, so does it say here what relatives?
Yeah, but I didn't want to jump the gun and go up ahead and.
Okay,
Whatever,
no. Let's just, all right, so let's keep going then.
It says Nanny Dawes' early life. Dawes' story begins with her birth to a family of farmers in 1905 in Blue Mountain, Alabama. Instead of going to school, all 5 of Jim and Louisa Hazel's children stayed at home to work on household chores and tend to the family farm. At age 7, Dawes suffered a head injury while riding a train. The head injury changed her life forever.
Interesting.
It's not only the abusive part. It was also the impact on her head.
Yeah,
By the
maybe
time-
you develop like a mood disorder or something. Again, I don't know much about the story, so I'm just
So it's
throwing
like this
things
guy.
out
Remember
there.
the one we read before?
Ramirez.
No, we haven't read Ramirez yet. We did Filo. Rodriguez Filo. Remember
he's the
kicked-
one that had the deformity in the head, right? Something
Right,
like
he's
that.
the one who was when he was in the belly, they kicked him in the head. And look what he did.
Okay.
There's a
So
pattern here.
He did he did it. I don't know. He did justified murders.
So why didn't Nancy or Nanny Dawes didn't justify, even though she did to a certain point?
All right, let's. I don't. I feel like I'm walking in blind here, so I want to know what happens. Okay.
By the
Teenage.
time she was a teenager, Dawes dreamed of living an idyllic life with her future husband, reading romance magazines, especially the Lonely Hearts column. Put it,
Mhm.
Lonely Hearts. Took up much of the young lady's spare time. Perhaps she used the romance magazines as an escape from her abusive father while her mother turned a blind eye. And there you
Mhm.
go, the second thing.
In other
There
words, he
goes
The,
turned
the, common,
away.
the common denominator.
Yeah, Papa's always involved, man. Jeez.
Papa and Mama.
Yep.
Okay. Then the marriages began.
Okay, so
The
then at the
spectator
age
here.
of 16, Nanny Dawes wed a man she had only known for 4 months, Charlie Braggs, and Dawes had 4 children together from 1921 to 1927. The
So
marriage
6
fell
years.
apart.
Hold up, wait. 6 years.
6 years of marriage.
Damn, 4 children in 6 years, bro.
It was
Think
And
no
they
about
TV,
only
that.
dude.
and they only met and they were only what 4 months together. So 4
Dude, 4
children
children in 6
in 6
years.
years.
Shit.
Hey,
No
That's all them
Netflix, dude.
romance
at
now.
time
That's
there's
all
no
them
TV.
romance novels. Okay,
So it
go.
says the marriage fell apart at that point. The happy couple lived with Bragg's mother, but she had the same abusive type of behavior as Dawes' father. Perhaps it was her mother-in-law that kickstarted Dawes' murdering spree. Hell no.
That's that PTSD.
PTSD.
Post-traumatic syndrome.
Yeah, it has to be PTSD. Her father probably beat her ass. And if she has an abusive
True.
mother-in-law,
But
it's like
why are you gonna allow?
sparks that.
Hey, even though it's back then, why are you gonna allow someone that's not even your blood is gonna treat you like shit?
Well,
You know?
back then, I mean, women were very
Respectful, I guess.
yeah. Well, they were very what is it? Not subdued.
Suppressed.
No, not surprised. I think
they were very loyal to their men. That's not the word I'm
the
looking
word
for.
in
but
English in Spanish is sumisa.
submissive. Yes, they were very
Submissive.
submissive to with their men. If that's his mom, so think about it. I mean, again, this is just me throwing shit to see whatever sticks. Think about it, right? You have a couple in the 20s. The woman is very submissive, right, to the man.
Mm-hmm.
He was probably, maybe did some of this to her, and you disrespect my mom, I'll beat your ass. We live in her house. I don't know. It could be any of that type of shit. So then, his mom verbally abuses her. I doubt it was physical abuse.
Yeah, it was mostly abuse. I mean, verbally.
This sounds
and
like a
then
Lifetime movie.
that shit sparks up that
General
PTSD starts
Hospital.
kicking in. All your war stories start coming back to your head, and yeah, you start reliving that. Okay, again, this is just me making shit up. So
It says the bodies behind the giggling granny. 2 children died under mysterious circumstances that same year. One moment, the kids were perfectly healthy, and then suddenly they died without apparent cause.
I'm assuming it's her children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
what
two of
they
her
make
kids.
it sound like.
Okay, 2 of her kids. So now she's down to 2 kids. Okay,
Right.
Go.
The couple divorced in 1928. Braggs took his older daughter, Melvina, took her with him and left a newborn, Florine, with his ex-wife and mother. Okay, why didn't he just take
these
them both?
1920 names?
Yeah,
So
Florine.
so
and
it's
Melvina.
Florine.
So they had basically 2 daughters left, is what they had. Because I'm
Right.
assuming Florine is a woman, a girl, because it's
Yeah,
a
it
boy
is
named
2 girls,
Florine.
2
Wow.
girls.
Okay.
But that's what I don't get is why didn't he just take both of the girls? Why he just took the older one
Probably
and
easier
left
for him.
the smaller one?
Probably easier to take care
True.
of.
Well,
Well,
still,
it's a newborn. I mean, a newborn needs the mother more than the father, I guess.
Yeah.
Just a year after her divorce, Doss married her second. That was quick. Doss married her second husband. He was an
Just a
abusive.
year after.
Exactly. That's
Okay.
yo. That's quickly yo. You didn't waste time. He was an abusive alcoholic from Jacksonville, Florida, named Frank Harrelson. The two met through a Lonely Hearts column. Harrelson wrote her romantic letters while Doss responded with racy letters and photos.
Oh, drop them
What does
nudes.
what does she mean by racy letters?
Drop them nudes. Yep.
Hey.
Probably sending him
Sexting.
nudes and like
That's their
sexting
version of
and paper.
sexting.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're probably sexting him. Oh man.
I want to rub your shoulders.
I
Rub
want to
your
show you my legs.
Can I see your bloomers?
Can I see your ankles?
Yep. My loins are all right. Let's go.
Despite the abuse, the marriage lasted 16 years until 1945. See, that one
Wow.
lasted a little bit longer. During this
Okay.
period, Doss likely killed her own newborn granddaughter a few days after the birth by using a hairpin to stab her in the brain.
That
That's
right there.
Oh.
That
That's
right there.
freaking harsh. A newborn, and wow, how twisted are you to come up with that? Just by
Holy
pricking
shit.
her with a needle in, I guess it's the soft part.
The soft part,
Yeah.
the self-destruct button. Like, holy shit.
¿A quién se le ocurre?
That's a twist right there. Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
How do you come up with that?
I don't know. That's
I'm
why
gonna
she's
kill
gotta
it.
be
I'm
like
gonna
sick
kill-
and twisted.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill this baby by stabbing it with a hairpin.
Wow.
Wow.
How did she think? How did she think about that? Nobody would in their
Exactly.
right mind would just think about something like that.
Mm-hmm.
A few months after the granddaughter's death, her 2-year-old grandson, Robert, died of asphyxiation while in Doss's care. These two kids belonged to Melvina, Doss's older child with Braggs. See,
So that's the one that left with the father.
With the dad, yeah.
correct. Time went by. She got married, had children. I guess they went to visit, or she went to visit. And for some apparent reason, she had the newborn in her arms, pricked it with the pin, killed it. Killed the child, not killed it. Killed the child, and yet she tends to bring her the second child.
Yeah, like maybe I'm assuming, right? This is all assuming, and when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. Yeah. But based on assumption, right? She probably held a grudge, right? Because again, this is me making up shit, people. Just in case, I'm clarifying it. This is just me just making up the story in my head, filling in the blanks. I'm not saying this is what happened, so just bear with me. This is my imagination running amok here. So let's say, right, Doss held a grudge with her daughter for leaving with the father. The daughter, I don't know, they reconnect. I don't know how far apart they were. I don't know what the upbringing was like. But yeah, like even if she didn't do it in front of her daughter, my first baby gets stabbed in the head, in the brain. Obviously, they knew this because how would we have this information, right? If they didn't know it.
Exactly.
So why would you have your child again, even if you didn't see her? You already lost two of your brothers or sisters. It doesn't say. Two of your children, two of your siblings passed away while in her care. Why would you give her to care for your newborn and then your 2-year-old? That's beside me.
Though they never said exactly why did her first husband left in the first place. So was it because she was aggressive, or there was something else?
It could have been a combination, right? Because if she was already going through shit with with her mother-in-law, right? Because they were married.
Mm-hmm.
She's already going through shit with her mother-in-law, and maybe, I mean, listen, if your mother-in-law is a tyrant, I'm gonna think more likely than not, you're gonna be the same way.
Yeah.
So he was probably a tyrant with his wife, and she left, and the fact that he took the daughter now, right, to play devil's advocate. What if she was abusive? What if the husband decided to leave her because two of their children died, and that's why he decided to keep the oldest one because he already had that connection with that one
Yeah,
to save her?
that put a strain on their marriage. The
Yeah,
two kids
I'm
dying.
pretty sure. Pretty sure. All right, Harrelson.
Harrelson was next on the murders list, following a night of drunken rivalry at the end of World War II. Doss mixed a secret ingredient into his hidden jar of moonshine. He was dead less than a week later on September 15, 1945. Like, moonshine wouldn't kill you fast enough.
That's what is it?
You know?
Roncaña.
Yeah, that's that
Yeah.
Lágrima Monte from Puerto Rico. You
Yeah.
know? People assume he died of food poisoning. Meanwhile, Doss collected enough life insurance money from Harrison's death to buy a plot of land and a house near Jacksonville. Arlie Lanning, Lexington, I guess North Carolina, died in 1952, several years after he responded to a Lonely Hearts classified ad placed by Doss. Here we go with the ad again. She's getting her victim.
That was the 1950s Tinder.
Yeah.
Lonely Hearts.
You remember when you would usually watch los videos musicales a las 12 de la noche en 4?
Yeah.
The messages que
Oh my God, right?
people are looking to hook up on the TV.
Holy shit, I remember that you
sending messages on the TV.
would send messages. Holy shit.
Mientras estaban dando el video de some reggaetonero or whatever.
Yeah, we're like, oh, fulanito, I'm looking for a hot date tonight.
Text, don't call, text.
Shit.
Playing the doting wife, Doss added poison to one of Lanning's meals, and he died shortly thereafter. He was a heavy drinker, so doctors attributed the heart attack to alcohol. Okay, this is twice already. Well, not twice, 3 times. Killed 2 kids and her husband, and she still
killed
walked away.
2 kids. 2 of her kids died. I mean, it doesn't say she killed them, but
then the baby,
and then the baby, and then the 2-year-old. That's 4 kids.
And then the husband.
The husband,
baby,
that's 5.
The baby, it says that she killed the baby with a pin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that asphyxiation of the second 2-year-old, come on.
It's too much of a coincidence.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you got to count 4 kids, the husband, that's 5, and this guy, that's number 6.
Right.
So for those of you who are watching on YouTube, I will put this picture here where you see Nanny Doss, which, as Charles pointed out, does look like Roseanne in this picture. And it says here in the caption, it says Nanny Doss laughs as she is interviewed by a police captain after confessing to the poisoning of 4 of her 5 husbands.
For some reason, I could hear her laugh.
Exactly. Exactly. That laugh that laugh at the end at the intro, como era que ella hacía.
Right. Richard Morton of Emporia Con, was Doss' next true love. But she always considered all of these guys out of the blue true love.
Everybody was a true love. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the 40s.
Huh?
That was the 40s.
40s, 50s.
People believed in that.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me, like, these people, when they used to give them promise rings, they don't do that shit anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, will you be my girlfriend? And they give them a ring.
That reminds me of the South Park episode, man.
Which one? Which one of so many?
What with the Jonas Brothers and the promise ring, the virginity and stuff,
I haven't seen that episode.
and Mickey Mouse is like yelling, but yeah, continues.
Anywho, although he spent a lot of time with other women while married to Doss, however, Doss wouldn't discover this yet because she was distracted with her matters.
With other matters.
Other matters.
Bum. What
She was doing stuff.
Busy
What
with.
was she doing?
Busy with.
Even though she read a lot, she liked a lot of crime stories and whatnot. Doss's mother needed a caretaker after she fell and broke a hip in 1953 after her father passed away. The woman died suddenly and without warning a few months after Doss agreed to take care of her. Coincidence or not?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Number 7.
Even though she didn't, she couldn't have done it. Well, if she didn't do it, she's still gonna get the blame for it.
That's number 7.
Shortly after her mother's death, one of Doss's sister died suddenly after having contact with Nanny Doss.
This woman is a plague. Fucking plague. That's number 8.
Doss was too consumed with her mother's health to find out about Morton's affair. But after she took care, quote,
I love it how they put
quote unquote,
in between quotes,
care.
took care of her mother and sister, she turned her full attention to her cheating husband.
Well,
He died under mysterious circumstances.
She took care of them.
She took care. She literally took care of them.
Yeah. And then he dies under mysterious circumstances.
Yep. And there's the other picture being interviewed. I guess it's by the police, and she has that smile.
These guys look like they spoke like, so where were you on the night? See? So he died under mysterious circumstances. See? I'm on to you. See?
Holy shit, it's true.
Right?
Especially the one in the back.
Yeah. You think you're gonna get away with it? See? All right, go. Nanny Doss's.
Nanny Doss' final victim was Samuel Doss of Tulsa. Okay, yeah, I guess that's why she got the Doss name. Of Tulsa, Oklahoma. He was neither a drunk nor abusive. He simply made the mistake of telling his wife that she could only read magazines or watch television shows that were for educational purposes. Sesame Street, what else?
Dora the Explorer.
You're gonna watch Reading Rainbow, see?
Oh my God, Reading Rainbow. You remember back in the days at the electric company? There you go.
Barney and Friends.
She laced
a prune cake with poison.
Prune
cake gotta be. It's gotta be bad enough. Prune cake. It's gotta be.
Prune cake. That shit gonna make you shit.
Hey, he was constipated.
Which one did he die of? Chronic diarrhea or just the poison?
It's a prune cake. Okay.
Samuel Doss spent a month recovering in the hospital. Yeah, after dehydration. A few days after he got home, poison-laced coffee finished him off.
Jeez.
She made sure. This is when Nanny Doss made a mistake. What mistake? She killed him. The doctor who treated her fifth and final husband had suspected foul play during his month-long hospitalization, but he had no proof. So the doctor convinced Doss, who was to receive 2 life insurance benefits after the fifth husband's death, to let him perform an autopsy. The physician said it was a good idea because the autopsy would save lives. Well,
Oh,
he
so
played
people in their
her.
20s wouldn't do like autopsies or anything?
I
No,
guess it
well,
was to a
it's like
certain
now.
point.
Like now they won't. I mean, I think an autopsy is something either you request or
There's
when
foul
it's
play.
like when there's foul play.
So if
Here,
he's
he
But
only had a
but even though
suspicion. He had no proof.
but even though
yeah,
like if you die of natural causes, you get an autopsy to
no,
know you
only if they
don't
ask for it.
Only, yeah,
really.
only if you request it.
Only if
Yeah.
they ask for it.
Whoever survives you, your next of kin or your wife or whatever, if they request it, yes. But they won't
Oh,
just do a random autopsy unless
Exactly.
there's like proven foul play.
Yeah, they see
That's why he
something
had
out
to
of.
convince her because if she doesn't sign off on it, they can't do it. Okay, so what did the doctor find?
The doctor found huge amounts of arsenic in Samuel Doss's body and alerted police. Nanny Doss was arrested in 1954. She soon confessed to killing 4 of her 5 ex-husbands, but not her family members.
Yeah, like I could see, like, okay, so you're killing your husbands. Are you doing it for the money? Are you doing it for the life insurance? Because
Well,
yeah, the other guy had life insurance. She was able to buy her house and whatnot.
right. But they all well in other articles they say that she's gotten quite a good amount of money from different husbands. She
That's
got
what I'm
one like
saying.
for
So what was
500.
she doing it with that purpose? Like, okay, they got life
Right.
insurance. This is my money maker here.
But she
Obviously, killing her family doesn't give her anything.
but she says that she didn't do it because of that. She did it
yeah.
because of their abusive treatment towards her,
Okay.
supposedly.
Well, later on in the article, it says that she blamed it on her brain injury.
Uh-huh.
Mm. All right,
So
so
she's
let's
like
get to
trying to
that.
play it out.
Authorities. All right, let me. Authorities exhumed some of Doss's previous victims and found extraordinary amounts of arsenic or rat poison in their bodies.
Tres pasitos.
Yep.
3 steps.
It turns out that a common household ingredient at the time was a potent way to kill people and without suspecting a thing. The grinning nanny's calling card was to poison her loved ones with drinks or food spiked with huge amounts of poison. In
Crazy.
all, authorities suspected she killed as many as 12 people, most of whom were blood related.
There we go. You were counting. You counted what? To 7?
No, I got up to 9, and then I guess 10 was this guy. I don't know where the other 2 come from.
I don't know.
So Doss blamed her murderous escapades on her brain injury. Meanwhile, journalists gave her the nickname Giggling Granny because every time she would tell the story of how she killed her late husbands, she laughed. She was cracking herself up like.
just think of Roseanne laughing.
See, so then here they have a picture of it says Nanny Doss breaks into a smile after signing a statement for Tulsa officers admitting she killed 4 of her 5 husbands with rat poisoning.
That guy in
That
the
is
back looks like he's
crazy.
trying to look down her shirt.
Boys, I got a confession. See? All right. So Doss even had a surprising motive for killing her male companions. She wasn't after insurance money. In her own words, Doss's romance magazines had a profound effect on her psyche. Quote, I was searching for the perfect mate, the real romance in life. End quote.
Well, see that you then this thing happens when people get obsessed with these type of things like
that's I was about to get
Tinder
and
stuff. Yeah.
So if we're gonna dissect this woman here, think of it. She has shit childhood. I guess many people had at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But then she has this head injury, and she fills her head with all these romance novels. I could see how she was probably in this like world. It's like, okay, so it's like when you meet some, and this is very common in the Hispanic culture. I don't know about the American one, but in Hispanic culture, many girls, when they are, and I'm saying, well, kids, I can't say girls because guys do it too.
Yeah.
When you raise children watching novelas, as they
Soap
grow
operas.
up, they turn into gossips. And
Yeah.
they get very dramatic,
Drama queen.
love gossiping, and everything is super dramatic. The world crumbles on top of them for any little thing. So there has to be something to that. Obviously, she wasn't watching novelas, but she was reading them.
Mm-hmm.
So she must have been like, it's like women in the late 90s, early 2000s. Many women were hooked on the show Sex and the City. And because of that, many people thought that that's how life in the city is. You have a shit job and you live these extravagant lives in Manhattan, when in reality, those who live here know that that's not how it is. Like, if you live the lifestyle that they live, unless you have a super high paying job or you are wealthy or marry wealthy, you will be broke.
Or you're
Always.
killed for their insurance.
You're not gonna live these extravagant lives. So I can see maybe that was part of her issue, man. You know how in novelas there's always something dramatic. Somebody always dies.
Yeah.
Somebody gets killed. You know, it's dramatic. So anyway, when one husband became too much, Dawes simply killed him off and moved to the next love. See, it's like a character. When a character sucks in a novela, they kill him off and then they bring somebody else.
They bring somebody new.
Like in that 70s show when Eric left and they brought that blonde guy that sucked. Forgot his name. Anyway, when one husband became too much, next. Okay. When husband became too much, Dawes simply killed him off and moved to the next love. Or victim, that is. Since most of her husbands had other underlying health issues, such as alcoholism or heart conditions, doctors and authorities never suspected a thing. Which, this is what I don't understand. When if many people are dying around this one person, it's time to
Where's
take
the
a
common
look.
sense?
Yeah, like, it's like, really, man? Like, 2 of her kids, 2 of her grandkids, her mother, her husband, her other
babies,
husband,
the elderly,
her sister,
males, like,
her grandchildren. Like,
too many people died around her. That's just to cause suspicion itself.
So Nanny Dawes died in prison in 1964 while serving a life sentence for the murder of her last husband. So basically, she was just doing life for that one murder, not for the other 11 people.
I guess Charlie lucked out really good.
Why?
You know?
What?
Not you. Her first husband.
Yeah, he's the
one that divorced her.
He's the only one that didn't
he
get
was
killed,
the lucky
right?
one. He was like, I'm glad I'm out of that freaking.
He knew better.
Yeah, she killed 4 or 5 out of 5.
That's why there must have been something behind those closed curtains, you know.
Yeah, he must have known something. I'm convinced he must have known something. Which
the
again
death,
is why
the death of the 2 kids. He
which
knew
is
something.
why
He must have
took
known
his daughter.
something. Yeah.
He took his daughter. He was like, "Yo, I'm out. Fuck this shit."
And then she killed her babies as well.
Yeah, that's insane, man. So the Giggling Granny, I would have thought this would have had more to have to do with the granny and giggling, but it didn't. But
that's what I was saying, you know.
The
That's why when I read, I was like,
but it was interesting.
No, it was interesting.
But it should have more. And I guess it'll lead to people wanting more.
It should have a better name. That's what I mean, like a catchy name. See, like when you say like the Black Widow.
You say the Black Widow,
like that.
no. That's
no, I'm
generic.
not saying that. Obviously, that's very cliche, but something like that is very catchy. Like her branding sucks. The Giggling Granny, like that brand sucks.
Well, it caught my attention.
She does have another one.
The Giggling Granny. It caught my attention.
It caught mine, but when I read it, that's why I was like, really?
So
I was picturing like this crazy woman, like you guys remember the movie Dr. Giggles?
Yeah.
I was
Isn't,
picturing somebody
isn't
like
that
that.
is that like a 90s movie, right? That's a 90s movie.
Yeah, it's a 90s movie. Wasn't it? No, it wasn't based on Stephen King, no.
Hey, maybe someone like that character from The Simpsons, that crazy lady with the cat lady.
Yeah.
Somebody crazy like that.
But it's interesting, like, 'cause I feel like the more we keep discussing cases like this, you start to connect the dots, you know? You start making connections with things and
Yeah,
like
basically everything is always like the daddy issues, mommy issues.
well, it's because it all goes back to one of our first conversations when we started this podcast, the whole nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's
It all ends to that.
like when you pay attention, you start seeing it's like a mixture of factors that go into it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the head and again, I'm not justifying it, but that's why I say like a lot of these quote unquote mental health issues that we have today, yes, obviously there's true mental health issues, but there's also a lot of nonsense out there. Because when you see cases like this, you can see like there was a head injury, there was an upbringing, there was an obsession with the novels and how that distorts and now in 2023 we can see that because sometimes people live in that denial that no, what my child watches has nothing to do with that. It doesn't affect them.
No, of course it does.
The hours on devices on the phones and the YouTube and the iPads and the tablets and
social media.
When they get this obsession, it distorts your reality, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There's this family now that they want to sue Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
Because they said that it hurt their child. But when you look at I haven't read the full story, so I don't want to comment too much on it. But by what I read, apparently this child had an Instagram account when they were 11.
No, he's
That's
too young
not,
to have an.
that's not Meta's fault. That's parenting.
Parents' fault.
And they were 11 and then they ended up like developing, I guess, like an eating disorder and whatnot because they got obsessed with what they saw and the hashtags of eating disorders and the skinny women and all that stuff. And
yeah, cyberbullying.
so we gotta monitor our children, people. We must monitor everything they watch because children are very impressionable and they will absorb everything they are exposed to. Good or bad.
Give them just a little bit every day, and that should be fine.
And if they're not taught and shown and explained to what's real, what's not, what's good, what's bad, there's no guidance. Trust me, their whole reality will be distorted. And this is an example of that. Like, obviously she was an adult, but even as a child, she was into these novels and as she grew, obviously it had to be an obsession because for her husband to step up and say, listen, you got to start watching some Sesame Street or something. No, like really look at it. It had to be that she was obsessed with this.
Yeah.
But but when she was small, her parents, more her father, they wouldn't let her interact with other children or dress, normally.
They had them working at a barn.
Yeah, they had them working at the farm. He even took them out of school. So they can her and her brothers and sisters working on the farm, no school.
So the true criminal here are the novelas.
Parents.
Parents and soaps.
Yeah, I want to hear from you guys who are listening and or watching us through YouTube. I want to hear the comments. I know there's more information out there. Like I said, we mentioned it in the beginning that there are obviously other articles. If you go and you type up in your search bar google.com, you write the name of Nanny Doss or the Giggling Granny.
Giggling Granny.
Her real name that I forgot.
Nancy Hazel.
Nancy Hazel. So, and you will find tons of information out there. So
there's
if
a
you
lot
have
of them that are
something,
mostly repeated.
yeah, and that's why we didn't want to like ramble on like reading the same thing. But for you guys, if you are searching for that information and you find something we didn't discuss that you find that is extremely interesting, please drop us the comment. We will read, we will respond. And that's that. So I think again, I just want to remind everybody, if you are listening to us on podcasts, please subscribe to the podcast. Thank you for listening right so far. I know some people listen and they'll listen halfway, or they'll listen to just the information that they want to hear and then they stop listening. But if you are listening this far, thank you very much. Thank you for the support. Follow, subscribe, comment, review, drop us some stars. If you're watching us on YouTube, also, I thank you for watching us thus far. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, drop a comment. I know it sounds like a lot of work, but it's not. And this has been the Grim Fix Podcast on the Giggling Granny. Till next week, please be safe.
Peace, everyone.
Peace.